What's up, guys? Welcome to Demo with Mo. I'm your host, Monique Simmons. We'll be discussing dating, engaged, and married objectives from a young Christian's perspective. Are you guys ready? Let's dive in. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Demo with Mo. Today, I have a very special guest with me, my mom, Miss Cassandra A.G. I really hope you guys enjoy our conversation, and I hope that you can find something you can relate to in the midst of our conversation. We are very honest, we're very open. I never want to make my guests feel uncomfortable, but I am a real person. I hate to be on the surface. My mom was completely open, and Mom, I appreciate you so much for that. She said nothing was off limits. So I really hope you guys enjoy today's episode. This is the kickoff of my birthday celebration of November. Woo, woo. If you guys are not already, follow me on Facebook, Demo with Mo. I am going to be doing giveaways every week where I am getting gifts off of my followers' Amazon wish list. So come follow me on Facebook right now. Pause this episode, go to Facebook, search Demo with Mo, and follow me. Find the post where I'm talking about the Amazon wish list birthday celebration giveaway. It's going to be going on all month. One lucky winner will get something every week for the whole month of November. Come celebrate with me. Remember, share this podcast with anyone you think it may help. Friends, family, neighbors, church members, co-worker, whoever you think this podcast can help. I thank you guys so much for your support. All the ways you support me, sharing the podcast, an encouraging text message, a phone call, an email, a private message, however you support me. However small you think it may be, it means everything to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. But we're getting ready to dive in today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoy this. Welcome to another episode of Demo with Mo. I'm your host, Monique Simmons. Today, I have a special guest kicking off my birthday celebration for November. I have invited my mom, Miss Cassandra A.G. Thank you so much, Mama, for being here with me.
You are welcome. Hello.
I do want to open up with why I brought my mom in. It's my first guest for the month of November. I wanted to have this conversation with her because I know a lot of people will be able to relate to a lot of the things that we are going to discuss tonight. We're going to be real and vulnerable and honest. And I know that that's something you guys love and can relate to. So my first question, Mom, what was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood was fun. My mom worked at night, so my grandmother ended up raising me. So from the time I was a little girl till I was 16, I lived with my grandmother. My grandmother was the type of person that she was a God-fearing person. She was the type of person that at 14, I was delivering newspapers. She would give me $5, a month. And that was a lot of money back then for me. And we would go to church. We had to go to church every Sunday. We was in Sunday school. I was in the choir. I never heard my grandmother curse. I never saw my grandmother drink. I never heard my grandmother talk about a bill. Nothing ever got turned off. And what really stuck out to my grandmother, she was a no nonsense person. I remember one time we had grits every morning. It was without fail. She would have grits for us. We would eat grits. So this one particular morning, I thought she had grits and I thought it was steak. So I got this big old piece of meat and I sat down and I looked at it and I tasted it was liver and I can't stand liver. And she looked at me and she said, "You gonna eat every bit." And you should have seen the expression on my face. So I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And I ate every bit. So the next time she had some meat, I said, "Is this liver or steak?" And me and her both laughed because she knew I wasn't gonna ever eat liver again without asking her was that liver or steak. But my grandmother, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood. I mean, I had uncles. We played games, Scrabble. I remember we had cable. The first time I saw Saturday Night Fever, that was like one of the first things on HBO when we first got cable. I mean, it was just, we had fun. It was just me and my Uncle Doug because everybody else was, had left, went off to college. So it ended up being me and my Uncle Doug. So a lot of times, that was my buddy right there. So, but anyway, as far as that, I had just a wonderful childhood. Words cannot explain, how good it was. But I mean, like I said, my grandmother was just a no nonsense person. She was just straight to the point. It was no talking back. It was none of that. Just no nonsense. And it used to be a time when children was to be seen and not heard. If she had company, I knew to go in the back room. She didn't have to say, go to the back room. Like you do children now, they be in your conversation, all that. It was none of that. I washed dishes, whether I ate or not, cleaned the kitchen, mopped, got off the phone at 8 o'clock. My grandmother worked at School Pictures. And when I get home at 3 o'clock from school, my food was ready. And do you know, I went to bed at 8 o'clock, never got on the phone. There wasn't nobody there but me. So it was just me. I locked the door, went to bed, 8 o'clock, wasn't no phone call. It was never time I wanted to sneak on the phone and get on there because that's how I was raised, to go to bed at 8 o'clock. So every night I'm at bed at 8 o'clock, did not get on the phone or none of that. Like I said, I had a good grandmother. She was an excellent example of what you want to be, when you grow up. So.
Okay, awesome. The next question, because I like that you said your grandmother raised you, which is my great grandmother, whom I love very, very much. God rest her soul. But you said your grandmother raised you. So how was your relationship with your parents, with your mom and with your dad?
Well, I didn't really see my dad that much. He was not a figure in my life. My mother, I had a good mom. It's just the fact that my mom worked all the time and she just wanted to make sure that I was safe. So that's why she, my grandmother told her, don't worry about Renee. I got her. So that's why I ended up really living with my grandmother, because my mom worked at night. My mom was a nurse for 35 years at university. And like I said, she was a good provider. But as far as like, go over her house every weekend and spend time with her, but my mom would be always tired and stuff. But anyway, she was a good mom. But like I said, I just loved my grandmother because she was there for me, period. I mean, hands down, sick, whatever I went through, she was there for me. And my mom was too, but it was like different because I saw my grandmother all the time where I didn't actually see my mom all the time.
Okay, got it. So Mama, the next question is, when was your first real relationship?
When I was 16, my best friend introduced me to somebody that I really liked, and my mom liked him too. He would always call my mom, and that's the guy she always thought I would marry. So That was my first boyfriend. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how long did you guys date?
We didn't date long because he was getting ready to go to the Marines. So I met him in June, and he left to go to Marines in August.
Oh, girl, that was quick. What?
Mm-hmm.
2 months?
Yep.
Oh, how old was he then?
18.
Oh, he was 18.
16.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Right. All right. My next question here is, how did you meet my dad?
I met my first love when I was 18. I was getting ready to go to Alcorn, but it used to be a time Jackson had a workers program for people, for young children to get a job, after they graduate from high school. Mm-hmm. So I went to this place and they sent me to Shoney's Pearl. So when I say about my grandmother took me to work every day. I was just thinking about that. She took me to Shoney's every day. I just think about this. I would say, grandmother, I don't get off. I get off at 12 midnight. My grandmother be out there at 10 o'clock crocheting. I go out there and say, Grandma, you too early. Oh, baby, it's okay. I don't mind waiting. Okay, I met this young man. I remember the first day I went to Shoney's and I was standing outside and I saw this young man, had good hair. He was changing the lights on this thing. And I said, oh, he is so cute. He gonna be my boyfriend. To myself, I'm just thinking this, right? So later on, we found out that he knew my stepbrother. Mm-hmm. So, and he was like, I know your stepbrother and blah, blah, blah. And we got to talking and stuff. So one day he came over to my mom's house and he said, you be my girlfriend? I said, yeah. And when we wore our Shoney's clothes, stuff they were ugly, made us look ugly. So I remember this one time I had just came to Shoney's to get my check. And him and his friend was out there. And he saw me in this dress. I never forget what he told me. He saw me in this dress and he said, "Oh, she gonna be my girl." That's how we met at Shoney's.
Okay, I went down at Shoney's. Okay, Mama. Next question. How did you know he was the one you should marry?
Your daddy, he was such a good guy. He was like strong and honest. I remember this one time when I was in college and we had this ball and it was like icy, bad. I wanted him to come down there and take me to the ball. So anyway, I thought he'd get there. But he came to take me, but his car wouldn't work. So we didn't even get to make it to the ball. But me and him end up walking to this place they were gonna have a little dance. And I had my cute little dress on. He had his tuxedo on. He was looking so good. But anyway, he was the type of person you could depend on. I remember I wanted this dress. I saw this dress for my birthday. We had went somewhere and I said, "I want that dress." I ain't think nothing else about it. So I had come home for my birthday that weekend from school. Said, go in my room. And I looked in the room. He had that dress I wanted. Oh, it just made my day. He knew everybody. I mean, he was so personable. It wasn't nobody. He never met a stranger. And he was such a good dad to you. Oh my goodness, you couldn't beat a better person. He let me go to school. He would raise you. He would take you to grandmama's house every morning, so he could go to work. I mean, he took care of you so good. He's just the type of guy that if you had a flat tire, call him. He coming. He was just an all-out good guy. I mean, words can't describe, he just was a good guy. I mean, and he would always take care of me. I didn't have to worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I knew that was the guy I wanted to be. Even when I first met him at Shoney's, I said, that's going to be my boyfriend. He was just that type of guy.
Okay. The next question, how old were you when you had your children, me and my brother?
I was 19 and 24.
Okay, so 19 with me and 24, okay, with my brother. Okay. Next question. How old were you guys when you got married, and was marriage hard?
I was 21. He was 24. We're 3 years apart. Yes, marriage was hard because, for one thing, I was young, and your daddy was like the second person I had ever been with. So I really was not experienced when it come to that. Yeah. So it was hard. And then on top of that, your daddy was not saved, and I was not saved like I supposed to be. And I went to church, but church, it wasn't the fact that I didn't love God. I loved God, but it was the fact I still wanted to do my own thing. I was not saved, and I was just not.
Let me ask you this. Were you saved, or were you just going to church?
I was saved, but I backslid.
Okay.
That's the word.
So you was a backslider.
Right. Because I've been saved since I was a young girl. I was like 8. I remember when I was going to church with my friends, that when I used to stay at my mom's house, my friend girl, her mom, I used to go to my church I love so much all the time, and I would always get the spirits. I knew, and I had personal experience with God, and I knew I loved God, and I knew him, but I was not living the way he wanted me to.
Okay. How do you know let me ask you this, because it's a lot of people going to listen to this and wonder the same thing. How do you even know you were saved? Just because you were going to church and, you felt like you loved God, but how do you know you were saved? Did you accept him as your Lord and Savior? I mean, did you take those steps?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I accepted him as my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And also, I knew it because I felt it.
Okay. All right. So basically, you said you were saved, you just backslid.
Right.
Okay. Got you. Meaning that you fell out of fellowship with God. For someone who may be listening and don't know what that means, may not know those, that church language, but meaning you saved, you're going to heaven, but you got out of right relationship with God. You kind of wanted to get out there and do your own thing.
Right. And I knew if I had died in my sin, I would have went to hell. And see, that's people think.
Hold on before you go into that, because I like what you just said. because a lot of people do think that. But let me ask you this. Do you think because you backslide, you're now going to hell?
No, at that time I knew I would have been. Because if you die in your sin, you going to hell. If
what
the
do you
sin
mean?
I was doing, what do I mean? What? You know how people say, if I died in my sin, if I, like they would, you know how people say I was saved, but I was out there in the world. And if I had died in my sin, I knew I would have been going to hell. You know what I'm saying?
I got what you're saying, but my question is to you, why do you think that? Where did you get that from biblically? Because once you're saved, you're always saved. Jesus paid the price for you, because if it was based on how we lived and what we did, that means we had to do something to get our salvation. We could never do anything but accept what has been done for us. So my question is to you, why do you think if when you backslid, if you were to die, why do you think you would be going to hell?
Sinning against God.
We all sin. Even when we're in right relationship with him, we sin. So my question, and the only reason I'm pushing this because a lot of people have been taught wrong. A lot of us have been taught that, but that's not true, because if it was based on what we did, Jesus wouldn't have had to die. If we could live a life without sin and do everything right, what was the point of Jesus coming to die for us? So why do you think now, because you backslid and you sinned against God, why do you think now he would take his salvation away from you if you've given your life to him? Why do you think now he's going to take it back? Do you think that's how salvation works? He gives it and he takes it?
No, I don't think that, but I know that I always thought, this is my belief, I always thought if you were doing wrong and God called you home and you was in your wrong when he called you, you was not going to go to heaven.
But my question is to you, where did you get that from biblically, or were you taught that wrong?
I was taught that in church, because it's like, you know how the thing about heaven and hell, and you know how they have preachers in hell, and they was like, well, how the preacher go to hell? And then they had to go back and say, well, he was doing this and he was doing that. And I guess because if you don't never ask for forgiveness, is that the no? Okay, no. Well, tell me.
Once you give your life to Christ, you're now saved. Now, don't get me wrong. When we sin and we backslide and we get out of right relationship with God, that takes us out of his fellowship, meaning we may not receive those blessings of God on this side, the peace and the joy and the freedom and all those things on this side of heaven while we're here on earth. But that doesn't take away my salvation. That takes away all those things that I can receive from him on this side. Meaning now I'm out of fellowship with him, or I'm out of right relationship with him, but that doesn't take my salvation away.
Okay, so how do the preacher go to hell? What did they do? And they was
biblically now, because I'm gonna always go back to the Bible. I'm not gonna say what nobody said to me in church, because a lot of people, even in the church, have been taught wrong. The only way we can go to hell is we didn't accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. That's the only way we can go to hell. People can be in the pulpit all day and not be saved. People can come into church every Sunday, sit on the pew, and not be saved. That's how you go to hell, because there's nothing that we can do. We cannot be saved of our own merit. I can't be so perfect. I can't be so good. I can't donate so much and do all these good things, that would make me look like a good person to the world. But none of those things matter if I haven't given my life to Christ. That's the only way we can go to hell. Scripture says there is no condemnation for those in Christ Jesus, meaning once I give my life to Christ, no matter what, there's no condemnation for me. I can't be condemned for what you say I'm doing, or if I backslide, God forbid I backslide, but there's now no condemnation for me because Jesus paid the price. He did it all for me and I accepted that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because what kind of life would that be for a Christian if you think your salvation is based on you? Man, if I said the wrong thing to so-and-so, now I gotta be worried about, am I saved or not? Am I going to heaven or not? Do you really think that's the kind of life God wants us to live, where we're not sure of our salvation every day? Because we sin every day.
And I knew I was out of fellowship with God because I wouldn't feel his presence.
But that's what I'm saying.
Anything. And it was like, I was like, God, I don't feel your presence. I know I'm not doing right. I would get a call and I turn back around. I'd be on my way to church and I get a call and I turn back around and forget going to church. I was so out of fellowship. I was so wrong. And I could just look back over my life and say, God, I forgive me for all the mistakes I make. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so, and I see that 100%. But then, because that goes back to the point that I was making. We sin or backsliding gets us out of fellowship with God or gets us out of right relationship with God. But does that take your salvation away?
No, it doesn't take your salvation away. And I always said, once you're saved, I always say it's like they teach it different. But I always said that. I said, once you're saved, you're always saved. But I know you can't, even though you might be saved, I know some things you might do, you might not go to heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Mama, you're contradicting yourself. You're saying once saved, always saved. But if you do certain things, you won't go to heaven. That's a contradiction.
Okay.
Why do you think that though? I mean, this may be a better question. Why do we try to put our thoughts as to what God thinks? Because God says clearly in his words, right? God says clearly in his
thoughts and not our thoughts.
Nothing can pluck you out of my hand. Once you're mine, nothing, Satan or nothing can pluck you out of my hand. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Once I've given my life to Christ, that's it, because he did it. But now when I backslide or when I fall into sin or when I do something I shouldn't do, now my salvation is taken away. That means I'm saying I'm the Savior and my salvation is based on me and what I do. But nah, that ain't true. It's what Jesus Christ did and I accepted what he did. That's what makes the good news so good, because we can't comprehend that God would even still love us and accept us and allow us to come to heaven even when we mess up, because that's not how we are.
Right.
Yeah,
but we won't get those blessings that we supposed to have gotten if we had did what we supposed to have done. We're going to miss some of those blessings. Like one blessing going to be on the right, all them blessings on the right. You could have gotten in. Look at the blessings you did get, but look what you missed because of what you did.
Right.
Okay. I understand.
Right. But we want to make sure that the people that are listening to this episode be clear on their salvation. Once you have truly given your life to Christ, nothing can change that. Nothing. Yes, you can fall into sin. Yes, you can be out of fellowship and out of right relationship with God, but nothing can take your salvation away from you if you've truly given your life to Christ. Okay, next question. What was the hardest thing about marriage for you personally?
I guess the struggles. I think the struggles. But
what do you mean
like
when you say
struggles,
that?
I mean, I think the struggles like made us stronger. I remember time we didn't have a place to stay sometime and we didn't have a car. To me, when you going through stuff and you don't know what's going to happen next. But I mean, it was just the struggles that kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for us. The struggles. We had the struggle.
All marriages have struggles. When you say struggles, what kind of struggle? Financial struggles? What was the struggles?
The hardest struggles I had in my marriage is dealing with his family.
Okay, that was the with your in-laws.
Right, because when we first moved, his brother had to stay with us, his sister had to stay with us, his mama had to stay with us. My family never stayed with us. And it was like, and they caused controversy. That's one thing that kind of like, first got married, we should have been happy. But it was like, his family was like a hindrance for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I would say, don't let them stay. Oh, we got to let them stay. And that's kind of like caused the friction in our marriage. So yes, that was personal to me. Yes.
Got it. So in-laws, that was your hardest struggle personally.
Yes.
And I can see that because marriage is supposed to be between a husband and a wife. We're supposed to leave our families and now have this family between us, husband and wife.
Right.
Got you. Okay. But like you said, you guys were young. You didn't really know what neither one of you saw good marriages with your own parents, did you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So you guys kind of went in this thing blind. You really had to kind of figure it out. Got you.
Right.
Okay. And that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. Next question. How did you feel and how was the transition of separation, then years later, divorce? Because we've kind of talked about, how you met Dad, what made you think he was the one to marry, you guys' relationship, what was hard in marriage, but now we're transitioning to separation and divorce. How was that transition for you? How did you feel? How did that affect you? Give me, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Oh, that was hard.
Let me ask you this while you're thinking about that as well. How old were you when you guys first separated?
We separated in 2005.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I was a sophomore in high school.
That's 36. Oh, I can't believe it was.
You guys were young. At the time, I didn't feel like you were that young because I was a child. I was y'all children. So in my mind, y'all were old. But now that I'm almost that age, you guys are very young.
Yeah, we're very young.
Very young.
Separation. You know what? Me and your dad, you know what? We talked about this. We both said we loved each other. It was hard, but one thing I want to tell your listeners this. When you're going through a separation, don't still be involved with your mate because it makes it hard on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even though me and your dad were separated, we still would see each other. And that does not work. You don't need
when
to
you
do
say
that.
see each other, you mean sleeping together?
Just be like you married. Go out. Just do.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Still doing everything as you usually would.
Yeah, but you separated. You can't do that because, for one thing, and I know a lot of people are separated from their husband. I get a lot of women say, "I'm separated, but I'm still seeing him." That's not good. It hurt. It was hard. I remember. I couldn't even sleep. I called my mom. I mean, one night I got on the floor and I just started thinking about one thing about when you're going through some things and your marriage is crumbling and you can see it. The devil will come visit you and he'll make you where you doubt everything about yourself. You just feel like you were inadequate, that you was not good enough. I remember one time I couldn't sleep. And I called my mom. Mom was still working at the hospital. And I called her and I said, "Mom, I'm having a hard time." I said, I'm having a hard time. I said, it's hard. It's hard. And I was crying, tears rolling down my face. And she said, "Baby, it's going to be all right." She said, "When I get off work, we're going to talk." I mean, my mom was my backbone. And I remember, and like I said, the devil will he'll have you thinking that it's your fault. Even though it's both of you all's fault, but he'll have you thinking you're the one to blame, And I would cry, and I'm gonna tell you, I go to work. Nobody knew I was separated at work. Nobody. I would go to work and just work. And when I come home, I'd be crying, praying. And I never forget this lady that worked with me at my job. She went through the same thing that I went through. She had the same experience I went through, what happened and everything. And she had a Bible class. And she said, "Cassandra, come join my Bible class." I started going to her Bible class. We started talking about things. And it just made me feel so much better and stronger. And I never forget, it just made me stronger. So anyway, my mom's friend, which she's dead and gone now, but she was a sweet lady. And me and her were talking one day, and I told her, I said, "You know what? I'm so glad I know God, because I couldn't have made it. I couldn't have made it without him." People, you have to put on this smile in public. You have to show this. You can't, because you can't show no vulnerability. You got to be like strong. And then I had children, and and it's times that I was like, I thought I was going to lose my mind, but God is so awesome. He just was right there, by my side. But like I said, it's nights nobody knew but me and God. I would get up, get on the floor and rock. And I call my mama and I said, "Mama, I'm having a hard time." And she said, "Baby, we'll talk about it tomorrow." She'll talk to me. And like I said, this lady that I worked with, God sent her in my life. And I told her, I said, "God sent you in my life." I really wasn't going to tell nobody, but I had a bad episode at work that day. And I went to her office and I broke down. And I told her, I said what I was going through and what was going on. And she took me and she said, Cassandra, I got this Bible class. I want you to come. And when I started going, I felt so much better. But I'm just saying that the devil will have you thinking that you inadequate and you not a woman and just all kind of things. But God always know who to send. He always send a ram in the bush every time. It never fails.
Amen. And why I ain't never knew about this Bible class. This is my first time ever hearing this.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't tell you about it. You was doing your own thing, honey. You know how you doing your own thing. You must study me. You doing your own thing. You know how y'all young folks is. Your parents, and a lot of times we go through stuff we don't want our children to know. You know what I'm saying? You knew some, but you didn't really know the brisk of everything. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, you kind of want to protect your children. So,
Okay, I'm glad you just said that. My follow-up question here is, did you realize at the time how much you guys' separation affected us as your children?
It affected my son. I didn't know about you because you was like a strong girl and doing your own thing. And I really couldn't tell about you, but my son, he had a hard time. And that's why I was like, when we call ourselves getting back together, I told your dad, I said, don't come here upsetting my son because he already had a hard time. You can't come here and upset him if you're not going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, it really affected him. So it affected him, I think, worse than it affected you.
Okay. And what makes you think that? What was it about my brother that you knew it affected him?
Oh, because he would cry and he would beg your daddy when he come back to me and mama. Don't leave us.
Yeah.
And that would break my heart.
Got you. And because I'm gonna say you guys separated in 2005. So I think
you were 16.
I was 16. And just to say this publicly, I know me and you have kind of talked about it. It affected me too. And I tried to come off as being strong. I tried to be that way because I knew how much it affected my brother. I didn't want it to be more on you guys. And I've learned that now as a parent and being friends with other people who have teenagers who they're not going through the separation divorce thing, but where they have things that go on in their marriage and how it affects their children. The children try to come off as strong or don't want to add more to already what they have going on. And that's kind of how I saw myself. I didn't want to add to what I already knew was going on between y'all, because it did affect me. I was mad. I was hurt. I was disappointed. I was angry. All the things you think your child can feel, I felt all of those things, but I would hide them. When I was around y'all, I would hide them, but I would self-soothe in other ways, doing things I shouldn't have been doing, sex and bad relationships and doing all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. But I felt like I had to be strong, if that makes sense. I just didn't want to add more on you guys' plate than y'all was already dealing with. Okay. Next question. How was I as a child? Don't be laughing.
My goodness. You was okay. You was so cute. Oh, you were my little boo-boo. I remember my uncle, I would always say, let me use your card. And I remember the time I would go to Mac Ray's and Gayfers and buy you the prettiest stuff. And my grandma would always say, you always have a dress so cute, so cute, so cute. You were so cute, so smart. Went to pre-K at 4 years old, passed the test. You had an awesome daycare lady. Oh, they taught you so much. You were so smart. Oh, you were just so inquisitive and just and so cute. You was just that girl, but smart. You were smart. Oh, you were so smart. So smart. You were just smart. You was loved. I mean, you had stuff that your brother didn't get because when we had you, we had money. When we had your brother, we didn't have none.
That's how I be with the first child. That's how I be.
Yep. When I say you got everything you wanted, you were spoiled. You got everything. Everything.
Explains a lot. It explains a lot. Okay. Was I hard to deal with as a teenager?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very hard headed. Rebellious, talked back, didn't understand when people told you no, and self because me and your dad thought you was independent. So we let you, you know, kind of like do your own thing. We said we could trust you. You was we just thought we could trust you. But that blew out the window. We realized that was not it. No, no, no. No, 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 no. You got away with stuff that me and I know I couldn't get away with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? My grandma didn't play that. I was very sheltered. And people ask me now about some stuff, and I said I don't even know what you're talking about because I was sheltered, and I'm glad I was sheltered. But I didn't want you to be sheltered like I was. You know what I'm saying? I wanted you to know stuff because this is stuff I didn't know. That's why I think I made a lot of mistakes in my marriage because it's some stuff I didn't know.
Yeah. And even
Well,
and even and even as a parent, it was a lot of stuff you didn't know of how to raise
right,
me as your first child.
right, right. And we just thought we could, we always said we trust Nikki. She a good child. And that's why we kind of let you just kind of like, be okay. Do you?
Yeah.
I was strict on Twan, but I wasn't strict. I should have been strict on you.
So how old or around what time did you see the difference in me kind of shift from me being a good child to now transitioning to being rebellious?
Probably about when you start going to Murrah.
Mm-hmm.
No, Chastain. Chastain, you cursed out the teacher or you did something, and I had to go up there. You acted very ugly to the teacher.
I don't remember that.
So probably I remember that. Probably around Chastain. But you really was bad when you met that little boy at your school, at your high school.
Gotcha. And what make you say I was bad?
You weren't bad, but you was not the girl I thought you was not the daughter that I thought I could trust. It was like, okay, like my age and your age. When I was 16 and I stayed with my mom, I could go out and I would call my mom and say, "Mom, I'm okay." My mom trusted me. I didn't really act up till I got grown. When I was your age, a teenager, I was good. I promise. I didn't cause any problems. I got no whoopings. I think my grandma had to whip me a couple of times, but really, I was like a nerd. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just a good child. So my mom would always. That's why I wanted you to treat you like my mom treated me when I got like 16, because she could trust me. She'll tell you, Renee didn't do nothing. Renee, if I went out with my friend, I'm running late, Mom. Okay, it's okay. She knew that I would let her know, and I was a good child. So, that's why I treated you like that. But you end up being not like I thought. You just disappointed me. And then when I saw you were 16, and then you start acting with a boy, and I know sometimes the wrong people will influence us, and because we trusted you. We trusted you. We really did.
Yeah, but do you think because now me being a parent of a teenager, you and Daddy let me do a whole bunch of stuff that y'all shouldn't have let me do? It's kind of like you said, you guys trusted me, but you guys, there were no boundaries. Like I honestly felt like there were no boundaries. Y'all just let me do whatever. And then one day y'all decided to kind of try to reel me in. But at that point, it was too late. You've been letting me do whatever.
I didn't think I didn't. No, we didn't let you do whatever. It's the fact we thought you would like I'm thinking you were like me when I was a teenager. Okay, my mom trusted me. It was like she had my brother. I kept him at night, but when I went on dates, I would have to take him with me.
But listen,
I was okay.
Grandma raised you. You left and went to your mom at 16, but grandma instilled all those morals, all those values, all those things in you. She taught you boundaries. She taught you respect. You didn't just learn that stuff on your own. And that's what I mean. You and Daddy kind of just let me do whatever. There was no teaching me how to be respectful and to, you get what I'm saying, to honor and respect adults. You kind of just left me out there to kind of figure it out. So I did what everybody else was doing. Does that make sense?
We did teach you. Yeah, but we did teach you right and wrong. We did that. But me and him we and him said we always we said, Nikki, a good girl. I guess you probably fooled us a little bit. So we thought trust you. You know what I'm saying? We thought you was good. And then when I realized that it was not that way, then that's when we changed. We had to change. But like you said, it probably was too late for us to change. But the only reason we let you be a teenager is because we thought we could trust you. And some children you can trust. And we thought we could trust you. That's why we did that. Cause believe me, we were strict. When you was younger, we were very strict. And we thought we could trust you when you got older.
You keep saying y'all thought y'all could trust me. I was a good kid. I was not putting on. But what I'm saying to you, when I got a car and when I started being able to hang out with my friends and go on dates or whatever I thought I was doing, you guys didn't sit down and have a conversation with me on what not to do, what was expected of me, what the rules were. You guys just kind of freely let me go out there. And I didn't have any boundaries. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't that I wasn't a good kid and I wasn't putting on, but you're sending me out here into this world and I don't know how to handle myself. You haven't taught me any of this stuff. So I'm just doing what I think is cool and what everybody else is doing. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, we made some mistakes. We know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that that you guys were right. I was a good kid at one point. But I kind of got out into this world where I saw all these things going around me and I wasn't equipped. I didn't know I shouldn't be doing certain things or what I should and what I shouldn't be doing. I was kind of following what everybody else was doing.
Right.
Okay, this is a good follow-up question. What kind of parents were you guys? What kind of parents do you think you and Dad were? Like if you had to explain your roles as parents.
We were too free. We was because we thought I didn't want you to be raised like I was. I was too strict. Like I told, when I got out in the world, right now, a lot of stuff I don't know. And I remember my aunt telling me, "You stupid. You didn't know that." I said I was sheltered when I was younger. We didn't want you to be sheltered. Okay. Yeah. That was my issue. I didn't want you to have to, okay, I know children now. If you shelter them and they get out there, they out there. You know what I'm saying? We was too free. For one thing, I didn't want to raise you like I was raised. My grandmother sheltered me. It's some things she never told me about sex. I didn't want to be that parent. I didn't want to be a parent where you couldn't go nowhere. They wanted to make you be in the house. I just didn't want you to be. And I know I made a mistake. I wish I had raised you kind of sort of like grandma raised me, but not as strict. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Balance.
But yeah, but I wish I had just told you like what. But like I said, I thought me and your dad, we thought we could trust you. Me and him had this conversation, and we said, "Well, Nikki, a good girl," and we always said, we're gonna let her be able to, experience on her own. And we'll see what she do, without, what I'm saying? We weren't trying to be that strict on you. So that's me and him did have this conversation. And then we realized that you was not what we thought. Yeah, that's when we started trying to get hard on you. But like you said, it was too late.
Gotcha. What was you guys' different parenting styles? Like, who was the bad guy? Or you know how they have the bad cop and the good cop. Like, how were you guys in that area?
When you was a little girl, and I remember a time when the teacher said something, I got on you and you said, "Mama, I hear you. I don't want no whooping," because you said I would whoop you and your daddy would. So I was the bad cop. Your daddy was not.
I agree with that. Daddy wouldn't whoop me. I probably remember once, maybe in my life, if maybe twice, maybe that daddy really put his hands on me, but it was very rare. Like I had to do something very extreme for daddy to ever put his hands on me.
He wanted to raise you like his mom raised him.
And which is how?
You know what I'm saying? Just like kind of like we let you do your thing. She let him do his thing.
Okay.
You know what boys and girls, they always say they raise, women raise boys different than they raise girls. It's like my mama and my brother. She let him do stuff that she wouldn't let me do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's certain things like stuff he got away with, I could have never got away with.
Got you. Which is big in our culture. You do see that a lot. And I try to be very careful of that with my own son, myself, because that does happen. Okay. Was how you raised, did it affect the kind of parent you were?
It affected, as far as I said, when I do have a child, I'm not going to be as strict as I was raised. I couldn't do nothing. It's like, and I promised myself, I said, God, when I get a child, I'm not going to treat them like I was treated. I'm not going to be so strict on them. That's one thing I liked about my mom. My mom was not strict on me because, like she always said, she said you was a good child. It was certain things I knew when I had a child, I wasn't going to be strict like that. That's why me and your dad was like I was telling you earlier, that's why we were kind of like, you a good child, and we're gonna, we're not gonna be as strict on you, as my grandmother was to me.
Got it. And I think we do that a lot as parents from generation to generation. We kind of see things we didn't like in our childhood or growing up. And we say when we have children, we're not going to do that. But I think we go to the extreme because it's some of those things that we should have kept, like how you said, grandma, taught you right from wrong and, kind of had boundaries in place for you. You think now as an adult, you should have done some of those things. No, you did not want to be strict, but there are some of those things that grandma did with you as a child that you could have put in place with your own children. I think it's just sometimes we take it to the extreme and we got to kind of have to find some balance in it. No, I don't want to be strict, but yes, I do need to prepare my child for how she needs to act when she goes out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you a better parent now? In 2021, with me and my brother, do you think you are a better parent now than what you were when we were growing up?
No, because y'all grown now. So, what only, no, I learned, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it different. You know what I'm saying? But I cannot go back. But no, you all are grown. So I mean, you might listen to what I say about something, but you grown. I mean, you're gonna respect me. But as far as me saying, well, you don't need to do that. No, I wouldn't ever do that because I've never been that type of person. I always want, I learned the hard way. And the best taught place for you to learn is the hard way. And you learn the hard way, you'll know.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think being a parent is telling me what to do? Why do you think that? That don't mean you being a better parent now. Parenting is just different when you transition from a child or a teenager to having an adult child, but you're still my parent. That doesn't change because I'm now grown and married. You're still my parent. So why do you think that means telling me what to do?
That's not what I'm saying. It's like me coming over there telling you, oh, you don't need to do that. You need to do this.
Like, but I'm saying, why do you think that? Why do you think that?
What?
Why do you think that's what makes you be a parent? You can be a parent without any of that.
No. You were just asking me a question. Because parenting to me, it's if you call me and you need me, I'm there. It's not about the advice I can get you. Sometimes the best advice is none. The best advice is not saying anything.
And I'm glad you said it. That's why I'm asking you. Do you think you are a better parent now in 2021 than you were when we were growing up? That's my question.
Yeah, I guess in some things, yeah, I guess.
Okay. What do you think you're not a better parent in? What area? In what way?
I really don't know because I don't know. I'm an okay parent. I don't know. I really can't. That's one question that's kind of hard. I think I'm a good. I mean, I learned from my mistakes. I'm put it like that. So I'm 52 now. You talking about a long time ago. You're 30. You'll be 33 on the 8th. So you talking about a long time ago. Yes, I have learned. If I could do it all over again, I'd do it different.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because what I'm asking you, we've already talked about the past and things we've had to kind of the obstacles and the hurdles we've had to come through and deal with. But what I'm asking you now is, do you think you're a better parent today than you were back then? And I will answer that and say, yes, you are 100% more a better parent to me now than you were growing up. And you have, as you said, learned from your mistakes. You have done it very differently as a grandparent and now a parent to an adult child than you were growing up. And I appreciate you for that. I really do. I see the growth and I really appreciate it. And I don't take it for granted because you and dad both have this in common. You guys have always let me do my own thing. You don't judge my decisions. You don't try to tell me what I should and what I shouldn't be doing. When I talked about, because we got married, Corey and I got married at a young age, very young age, just like you and dad. I had CJ at 19, just like you had me at 19. You could have easily, as a lot of parents do, try to tell me I shouldn't be doing this and maybe that's not a good idea. You could have judged my experience based off of your experience with dad, and you could have tried to talk me out of it. It's a lot of things you guys could have done as my parents, but you never did that. And I respect that so much, because I am an adult and I am going to do what I want to do, but you guys freely let me do that. There was no criticizing me, judging me, telling me what I should do, what I shouldn't do. You just let me get out there. When I was getting ready to tell you, we're buying a house or getting a new car, all you guys ever did was congratulate me and tell me how proud of me you were. It was never, you don't need to be doing that, or do you think you're ready for that? And I love that about y'all, because I see it all the time where parents are still trying to dictate their adult children's lives, trying to tell them what to do, but they're adults now. You've done all that you can do as their parent, in their young age, of kind of trying to steer them right from wrong and what to do with the decisions they should make. But now that they're an adult now, they kind of have to make those decisions for themselves. And I love that you guys kind of always let me do my own thing. You never once ever that I know of, unless y'all talked about me behind my back, which I don't think y'all did, but y'all always just told me y'all was proud of me and y'all was there for me. Like, it was so simple, but it was so dope. Like, I don't take that for granted, because I could always openly come to y'all about anything that was going on in my life, or what I wanted to do, or what decision I wanted to make. And y'all just be like, cool, congratulations, or I'm so proud of you, or I love you. Simple things like that. And I appreciate that so much. I really do. I don't think I've ever said that to y'all, either one of y'all, but I appreciate that. I really do. Okay, last question before we close out. What are you most proud of with me as your daughter? Even though I have a whole brother, you have a whole nother child, but he's not here. So I'm asking about me. What are you most proud of with me, your daughter?
I talk about y'all all the time. So anyway, I am so proud of your salvation. You are so...
Mama, are you crying?
I am so proud of you, because you helped me so much. Like, whenever I went through something, especially when I was in Tennessee, and I could call you and you would quote a scripture for me, and you would always say things about me, and you just helped me. You just don't understand how much you helped me. And when I got burned out this year, you helped your mom. You didn't hesitate to help me. I just can't. And I tell everybody, I said, I have such a good daughter. She is so awesome. I said, she's an awesome mother. Oh, I said, you should see her children. They're so smart. And they know everything. They know more than I ever could know. And I said, she's such a good wife. And I just talk about you and I brag on you all the time. I am so proud of you, because I can remember when you were so rebellious and hard-headed. But I look at you now and I say, look at this precious thing that God gave me. And I'm so thankful for you. And you just don't know how blessed I am to have you and your brother. And I appreciate you for always talking to me, giving me advice, asking me to keep the kids. That's special to me, because I love my grandkids, even though I don't get to see them a lot, because we all have our own busy life. And I'm just thankful for you. And like I said, you're a good parent. You are an awesome parent. I mean, you do so much. You know so much. Stuff that I could never do. You do it. And I'm so proud of you. And I made her. That's awesome. Thank you, God. So I'm proud of you. If I probably don't get to tell you that much and tell you how much you mean to me, but I mean, you just are, you awesome. You really are. You're such a, sure, they awesome. I mean, you are such a good example of what a good daughter is. I mean, I tell people at work, I say, I have such a good daughter. She's awesome. And I said, my grandkids are awesome too. So, I mean, I just wanted to let you know I love you. And I know I made some mistakes, but I know, we all make mistakes. So I'm just thankful that the daughter you turned out to be, and I'm glad you gave God your life. And you inspiration. That's all I can say.
That is so sweet, Mama. So sweet, so sweet. I love you so much. And I know we didn't really get to dive into that tonight. I hope we can do another episode where we can kind of talk about those mistakes and those hurdles and those hard times that me and you had to come through personally in our relationship. But just know that I love you. I have forgiven you. We have already talked about this, but I just want you to hear me say this publicly. I have forgiven you for that. I don't hold that against you. As a parent myself now, I understand why you felt like you needed to do those things that you did. And I love you. And I appreciate you. And I do thank you and Dad for creating little old me. And I hope that we can continue this legacy with my girls and with my son and their children as well. So thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you and I love you. Well, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Demo with Mo. Mama, thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you guys enjoy this conversation between me and my mom. Real, raw, vulnerable, honest conversation between a mom and her daughter. Thank you again so much, Mama. I love you.
You too, ma'am.
All right. Bye, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Follow me on Facebook at Demo with Mo. If you have any questions you would like answered here live on my podcast, email them to me at demowithmo@gmail.com. That's DEMOWITHMO@gmail.com.